Let's get one thing straight. You're not the victim here. You're the storm. You're the one who leaves relationships rotting in your wake. You're the common denominator in every failed love story. And deep down, you know it. But here's the good news. Even monsters can change. And today, I'm not just exposing your toxicity. I'm handing you the antidote. This isn't a therapy session. This is an intervention. If you're brave enough to stare into the mirror and see the truth, if you're ready to stop destroying people and start deserving them, then keep watching. But if you're still clinging to your excuses, go ahead. Click away. Just know this is your last chance to stop the cycle. You think it's too late. You're already hooked. Let's dissect the darkness. Sign number 1. You weaponize silence. Let's dissect this. Weaponizing silence isn't just needing space. It's emotional warfare. You're not taking time to cool off. You're using absence as a punishment. Examples? Ignoring their texts for days after a fight, canceling plans without explanation, giving them the cold shoulder until they beg for forgiveness. Why it destroys love. Silence isn't neutral. It's a power move. You're training them to fear your disapproval. Over time, they'll stop expressing needs altogether to avoid your withdrawal. Congratulations, you've built a relationship with a hostage. This stems from control issues. You're terrified of vulnerability, so you dominate the narrative by disappearing. It's also lazy. Instead of working through conflict, you'd rather torture them into submission. This is the 3 things how to fix it. Set a time limit. I need 24 hours to process. We'll talk tomorrow at 7 p.m. Stick to it. Use I statements. I feel overwhelmed and need space. This isn't about punishing you. If you can't communicate without games, stay single. You're not ready. Sign number 2. You keep score. Keeping score turns love into a courtroom. Example, you paid for dinner, so they owe you a favor. You listened to their rant, so now they must tolerate your jealousy. Love becomes transactional, a business deal, not a bond. Why it destroys love. Relationships aren't 50-50, they're 100-100. When you tally favors, you're telling them, I don't trust you to care unless I force you. Resentment builds and intimacy dies. This is insecurity dressed up as fairness. You're keeping score because deep down, you don't believe you're worthy of love without bargaining. These are the 3 things how to fix it. Delete the scoreboard, give freely, or don't give at all. Practice unconditional acts. Do something kind without mentioning it later. Ask yourself, am I investing in this relationship or just auditing it? Sign number 3. You love bomb, then ice them out. Love bombing isn't romance, it's manipulation. You overwhelm them with grand gestures. You're my soulmate, then vanish for weeks. Hot and cold behavior keeps them addicted to your crumbs of attention. Why it destroys love. This creates trauma bonding. They're addicted to the highs, so they tolerate the lows. Eventually, they'll either explode or become a shell of themselves. You're either avoidant, terrified of real intimacy, or narcissistic, addicted to admiration. The roller coaster isn't passion, it's predation. How to fix it? Stabilize your effort. Consistency. Grand gestures. Ask, am I love bombing to manipulate or because I genuinely care? If you can't sustain energy, admit it. Don't breadcrumb. Sign number 4. You gaslight without remorse. Gaslighting isn't just lying. It's erasing their reality. Example, they say, you yelled at me, and you snap. You're delusional. It never happened. You twist facts until they doubt their sanity. Why it destroys love. Gaslighting is abuse. You're not winning an argument. You're annihilating their trust in themselves. Soon they'll leave, or worse, lose their identity. You're protecting your ego at all costs. Accountability feels like death, so you rewrite history to avoid guilt. How to fix it? Apologize without excuses. I was wrong. How can I make this right? Write down fights afterward. Compare your memories. Face the truth. Therapy. Now you're not qualified to fix this alone. And finally, sign number 5. You sabotage their happiness. Sabotage is subtle. Example, they get a promotion and you joke. Don't let it go to your head. They make friends and you accuse them of flirting. You're not protective. You're threatened. Why it destroys love. You're teaching them to shrink to fit your insecurities. Eventually, they'll choose between their light and your darkness. This is envy masquerading as love. You can't stand their growth because it highlights your stagnation. Fix it. Cheer louder for them than anyone else. Fake it until you mean it. Journal your triggers. Why does their success scare me? If you can't celebrate them, let them go. They deserve better. Toxicity isn't a life sentence. It's a wake-up call. Start today. Track your patterns. Apologize without caveats. And if you're still making excuses, you'll end up alone. And not in the cool, mysterious way. In the old cat lady with unresolved trauma way. Drop a comment. Which toxic trait are you burying today? If you're ready to change, hit subscribe. This isn't a redemption arc. It's a revolution. Stay dark-hearted, but never stay broken.